Hello, welcome to the spring session. Today we're going to talk about something interesting, something most required. It's about the I18N applications. What is this I18 applications? What is this I18 applications? So what is I18? First of all, what does I18 stand for? So I stands for the internationalization. So if you look at the letters between, if you count the number of letters between I to N, it's 18. So that's the reason why we call it as an I18N application. So what does it mean? So if you look at many website applications, especially websites, it may be also standard applications. There are a few applications which support multiple languages. So let's say that, let me open a Google and show you, just verify whether it is an I18N application or not. If you open Google, it's showing in the, let me open Gmail, that will be a little easy, very convenient for me. If you look at Gmail, this is a login page. Let me sign out. So this is the Gmail page, right? Gmail login page. If you look at this, this is being displayed in the language English US. So let me change the language to Telugu. So when I select the language as Telugu, you can see that everything is getting converted as Telugu. So it's showing the signing name and the password and everything. It's asking the login button, everything. It's getting displayed in the corresponding displayed language. So this is the website web application. So we have the option. So similarly, if you look at the standalone applications are nothing but, if you look at the games, what we install on our systems, or specifically tools like UFT, LoadRunner, and ALM, all these kind of tools are standalone applications because we install them on our applications on our system. Okay, so they are the standalone applications. So there are the, of course, we sometimes need to build a standalone application which may need to support multiple languages according to the country. So let's talk about this website. So this is the website, right? So the person who opens in the opens the Google in India, it gets open in the English language. Whereas the person who opens in the Spain, for them, according to the location, it automatically finds for which country it is, what's the language they speak. According to that language, it gets converted. If it is a Chinese, it gets converted to Chinese language according to the country. Okay, so if the application, any application, it may be standalone and website-based application. If it supports multiple languages according to the country and the language, so then it can be called as an I18N application. So we can see this, if you look at this Gmail, you can see it's supporting multiple languages. So as it is India, it's supporting the, in India we have many other languages apart from the English, right? So you can see it's supporting all those languages. So we can say that it is an I18N application. Similarly, if you look at Google, you can see it's getting displayed in the English. So if you change the language as, if you change the language as, I will go here and go to settings and select the language. If you select the language, so if you select the languages, And if I try to add some other thing, let me remove this one. Let me move down. Let me show. Let me move this up. So I'm showing that first preference is the French Canada. So if I go back to, if you go to Google and say refresh, you can see, you should see. I'll do one thing. I will try to add the language, some other language. And so I will try to add some other language like I will try to add Telugu. Yeah, Telugu. I've added Telugu and say add. Okay, so I will say refresh. I'll do one thing. I will remove all these languages. So I just have Telugu here. Okay, I just have Telugu. I will go to Google and say refresh. Or else I'll go to Gmail and say open Gmail. So you can see it's showing the thing in language in the Telugu. Let me change to some other language. I will say add language and I will say Chinese. I will say add. Let me take it to the top. And to the top now it is Chinese. Okay, now I will refresh. Now it should see all the languages, all the input fields, the field names have got changed to, so the field names have changed to the Chinese language. So that's how we can change the language. Okay. So here we have seen how the Gmail is able to change the language according to the convenient, according to the added language. So here to make, first of all, let's come to the development point of view. So to create any I18N application, let's say that we need to create, let's say that we got a requirement that we need to create an application which needs to support two languages. One is English of the country US, and the other one is the French of the country Canada. Let's say that we got the requirement to create the application which should support then two languages. So even though if it supports more than one, then it can be called as an I18N application. I18N supported application. So let's say that we got a requirement to create the application to support the two languages. One is the English, other one is the French for the Canada. First one is English for the US, other one is French for the Canada. So how many languages needs to support? We need to create those many property files. So let's do one thing. Let me go to my desktop and create two property files. So I have created the two property files. You can see here. First of all, I have created the name as my properties. As it is supporting the English, I have given EN_EN, and it is for the country US, right? So I have given US. As it is a property, I have the extension known as .properties. So this my properties is known as a base name. So underscore is known as the _EN is known as the language, and _US is known as the country name. So as I'm supporting two languages, I have created two different files, two different property files. So what are the property files has? It has their names and values. Let me open one. So if you I will edit with Notepad++. You can look at these things. Name, the property files has name and values. Here I have, let's say that we need to create this application. So let's say that we need to create this application. So let's say that we got the requirement that we need to create the login page. So these are the field it has. The name of the title is some sample output. Okay, and username is this. Username is this, and the password. Okay, these are the fields we have, and the login. So all these fields should be should be present in the properties files, the username and the password and all these things. Okay, so we need to present in the properties file. So that's the reason I have created a property file which supports the English language. So this is my property file. So I have given the login. I have given the name for this title as login underscore title. So I have given some value. Here it's showing some sample project, right? So and for the username, I have given login underscore username, and I have provided the, so what it needs to display, it needs to display the username. So I have given that username. So for the password, so I have given the name as login, and given the key as login.password, and what it should display, it should display password. So for the button, it should display login. So that's what I have given here, login, and the name of the key is this thing. So this is the key and this is the value. This is the key, this is the value. This is what it needs to display on the screen. Okay, similarly, I have created one more property file that's for the French. So I have converted all the values. If you look at this, I have converted all the values to the French language. So here, so the key should remain same. If you change the key names, automatically the program will not able to identify, right? So we should never change the key names, only we should change the values. So for this French, F stands for the French and the C is the country name. Okay, so in real time the projects, what we are going to do is we will be never converting the language to any specific language. Let's say here it's the French, right? So we have some technical writers who are who have the knowledge on the French. So we will be recruiting the French technical writers. So using their help, taking their help, we'll be creating this template. So what we'll be doing is we'll be providing them this template, and they will be converting this template, converting all the values to the appropriate French language. So let's look at the application. So let's say this is the application we want to create. So let's say that we got the project saying that this is the project they need to create, and it should support two languages. One is English, other one is the French language. So we have created two property files. So we have created two property files. One is my properties underscore en underscore us dot properties. As their properties, so we have the extension known as dot property files. So my properties is the base name, and en is the language, and us is the country name. This is a standard that we need to follow for all the properties. Okay. So similarly, for the French language, we have a base name underscore name of the language, what language, and the country name. It's Canada. So dot properties. So let's say that. Let me open this thing. Okay, let me edit this. Edit this with a notepad. If you look at this thing, we have all the properties should have the key and values names. So for this application, what I have done is, okay, for this application, for the title name, I have given the key as login underscore title, because it's login page, right? So I given login underscore title. So what it should display? It should display sample project. So it should display this one, this part. Okay. So it should display this part. So it should display. So what it should display? It should display this part, right? So I have given that as a key, that has a value. So other one is username. To display the username, I have given the username. For the password, I have given the value. Here the password, this is the login key, and this is the button. And for the, so this way we have given the key name and the value. The value is nothing but what it needs to display on the screen. So here if you look at, look at this thing, so we have in the format of key and values. So values are nothing but what it needs to be displayed, and then the keyword is the user defined name. Okay. So similarly, let's say that we need to, the application needs to one more language, right? It's a French and Canada. So here what we'll be doing is we'll be giving this file en underscore English underscore US file properties to the technical writer, French technical writer. Will be recruiting that person separately. So his responsibility is to convert all the values to the French. So he will take this file and convert all the values to the French. So you can see title has converted as the French. This is how it's going to display in the French. So its responsibility is to convert into, so his responsibility to convert all the values into French language, appropriate French language. We'll be converting this to French. So now we have the two property files. Okay. So now we have the two property files. So I need to talk about one more thing. In the internationalization, see here, if you look at my property file name, how it is, first of all, it's having some name. Let's say here I have my properties. So I have given the name as my properties. Then I have given underscore EN. It stands for the English, and that's the language. Then underscore in the capital letters I have given name of the country, and then followed by the extension. So here, if you look at this thing, for the English we have en underscore state name. Whereas for the French we have French, and it's for the Canada. So this is how we have. So similarly, if you look at other states, we may have some other naming convention, two letter, two character, different name. So who is going to define all this name? Who is going to define the name for the two character code for the country code and two character code for this listing? Who is the one who decides all this thing? So we have an organization known as ISO. So they are the one responsible for setting up the standards. So they are the one who sets up the standards for this thing. So let's say that a new country got evolved. Let's say that they have some language. Let's say that they speak this language. So let's say that their country this is their country name. So this is the language what they talk. And so this is the country name. So let's say this is the country name. So it is the responsibility of the ISO to set the standard two letter language for them. Let's say they will set it as A. They will set it as A, and for the country name they will set it as EA. So if that's the case, we need to create the property files to support their language. We need to create the property file for the language, and this is the country name. So this is how we need to create. Okay. So the ISO is the company which sets up standards for this two-letter language code and two-letter country code. Okay. Now let's go back to the property files. Let me go back to the property files. I will go to Eclipse. In the Eclipse, let me create the project with the name Spring Demo. So Spring Demo, what I have done is I just copied the. Let me delete. Hold on one thing. I will delete everything. Right click on it and say new. It's a new Java project. I'll say new Java project, and I will select some name as properties demo. So if we finish. So this is the project what I have created it. Let me close unwanted projects. So this is a project what I have created. Okay, so this is the class path. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy. Let me create Java program. Let's say that sample project. This is the main method. I will say finish. So it has created in the default path. So we'll change it as change the package. I'll do one thing. I will create one package with the name so we'll copy this sample here. Okay. Now what happened? Okay. So now this is the package and we have this class and this is the and it has the main method. So what I'm going to do is first of all I need to place my property files in the project folder. I should not place in the class path. I should place directly in my project. So where are my properties files? They are present here. And simply I'm going to copy both these property files. One in the English, other one is the French. I'm going to go to the Eclipse. So simply copy in the project. I'm not copying the class path. That's very much important. The property files should be present outside the class path. It should be inside at the project level. Okay, that's the important point to be noted. If not, you're going to get error. Because I spent a lot of time in resolving this issue. Okay, now what I'm going to do is now. So first of all, let's say that before adding this project, let's say that I don't need all this project. First of all, I'll show you something. I will remove the property files. Now I'm going to show something very interesting. So let's say that this is a standalone application. This is not a web project. This is a standalone application. Okay, what I'm going to do is, so here I'm going to do a few things. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, I want to know this current system, the current system language and current system country code. What is the so whenever we read the standalone application, it's our responsibility to find out the system language and the country code what it's using. Okay, so right now I know that this current system is using, let me go to let me search here language settings. So here if you look at this thing, so this is currently using English India. Okay, English is a language, India is the country code. So to get the current system language, I need to use a class known as Locale. So I need to call the method known as getDefault. So I should use the class known as Locale.getDefault. So when you get this thing, let me assign to the. So I got the locale value. Say that I got the locale value. Okay. So using this locale, what I'm going to do is using this locale, I'm going to get so I'm going to get the language. So using this locale, what I'm going to get is, my god, I got some problem with my keyboard, struggling to enter each and every letter. Get country. Why it's not working, I don't know. Okay. So using this local variable, I can get the current system language and current system country code. So let me print this. I will trace this out. So I'm going to print this. So similarly, I'm going to retrieve the country code. Let's see whether it's going to retrieve my current system language and country code or not. So let me run as Java application. Wow, it has retrieved my current system language and current system country code. English is the language, country IN is the country code. So always the country code should be in the capital letters and the language should be in the small letter. Wow. So using this, so with this we got to know that using the Locale.getDefault, we can retrieve the current system language and the current system country code. Okay. So using this thing, we can get the current system language and current system this thing. Okay. And this is only for the standalone applications, that the points to be noted. Okay. Okay. Now coming to the property files. So let's say that I have the requirement. So what's my requirement is, so here my requirement is I need to create a standalone application. So I need to read property files. Let's say that I have multiple properties. Let's say I have 4, 5, 6 property files. Okay, so I need to read the appropriate property file. So that's nothing but, let's say that my property has the base name of the properties and it should read the corresponding language. It should read the corresponding language, then underscore the country code. Then country code. It should read country code, then it should get the properties. So this is the format I need to get. So let's say that I have multiple languages. Let's say that I have two languages. So let's say that I have the two languages. One is English underscore US is the country, IN is the country. So next is the other one is the French, which is the property. So let's say these are the two properties I have. So let's say this is my base name. So let's say this is my base name. So these are the two properties I have. So my system, so my application needs to find out the language and it needs to find out the country of the current system, and it's going to read this property file and read the values present in it. So that's the requirement. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I will go to my, I'm going to comment this line. So first of all, what I'm going to do is, first of all, I need to find out the file. Okay, let me place first of all, let me place my property files. Go to property files at the project level. So I have the two property files. So it needs to find out the language. So find out whether my system is supporting French or English. It should automatically find out. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to have a string. I'm going to say file name. So here, what I'm going to do is, so here it needs to write the file name. It needs to find out what is my appropriate file name. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hardcode a few things. But I'm going to put hardcode, language and the country code. I'm going to get those values by using Locale.getDefault. Okay. So this is the thing. So I'm going to, first of all, let me create the Locale.getDefault. So using this locale, I'm going to get the get language. So using this language, so this, the format is underscore, right? The language you need to have the underscore. So then I need to have locale.getCountry. So country. Then I need to have what? I need to have dot properties, right? So this is the dot properties files. So what it's going to do is, it's going to, so I have created the local object. So to create the file, I have hard-coded my properties. This is the base name, and it's going to my properties underscore. Then it's going to read the current system language. Okay, and it is going to set here. Then I have hard-coded underscore. Then it's going to retrieve the current system country code. So then it's going to retrieve. Then I have hard-coded dot properties file. So let me print this. Let me print the file name and see whether it's able to read the current system language and the current system country code or not. So let's say it should read this one. So let me run. Why I'm getting error? Okay, I need to have semicolon. Okay. So let me run as Java application. Wow, it's able to currently identify it's able to read my property file. So now my current program knows which property file to read. So it's saying that the current system is English, it's using English language, and the current system country code is this thing. So let me modify this as refactor. So now it knows what file to read. Now it knows it's read this file. So to read this file, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the property file. I need to use new property class. Which property? It's a Java util dot this properties, not this one. This one, right? I say control and assign this one. So using these properties, we already know in our previous sessions we have already discussed what is this. So we need to first of all load our file. What is that file? New file input string file. What is the file name? This is my file. So I'm going to place it. So it's going to load. Now the property files are loaded successfully. Why error? Okay, I will use throws. Okay. So then using these property files, so using the properties I'm going to get property string. So what is, let me open this file. So what is the key name? Let's say that I want to read the login underscore key. So what I'm going to do is I will go to my sample project, simply paste this. Similarly, let's say that I want to use the username, password, and the login. So this is the login, this is the username. So login underscore, it's a password. So I have given all keys. So it should be double quotes. Okay. Okay, now I've given all the keys value. If you look at year underscore years, so these are the keys with what I have mentioned. So it needs to read corresponding value. So let me go to Eclipse and print all these values. Okay, so let me try to print all those values. Now what it needs to do is, first of all, using this local object, I'm creating the to find out appropriate file name. So I have used get.language. It's going to create the system language. So now it's going to create a file name. So using this file name, it's going to read appropriate file. So now it knows it needs to read en underscore in. So it's going to read this one instead of this, because here underscore file name, it has this value. So using the properties files, I have loaded this particular file name, and then I am using the properties or get property. I'm reading the key values. Now it should print the property, it should read the values. You can see it's reading. This is the file name, what I'm printing. This is the title, Okay, what it's printing. This is the username, this is the password. All these are values from the dot property files. This is how we need to read the appropriate property files. But this is for the standalone application. Okay. Okay. So this is for the standalone applications. But okay, standalone application. But if you look at the code here, so this is not the way that we are going to work in the real-time projects. So instead of property files in the real time, we are going to use something else. What is that? What is that? It is nothing but resource bundle. Instead of the property files, properties or locale, we are going to use the resource bundle. So here what we are going to do, we are creating an object for the locale.getDefault, and then we are going to read the language and country code, and then we are forming the file. So this file it's going to read appropriate file name. We are using the property files, and then the property file we are loading all this stuff. So it's a long process. Instead of this thing, so we are not going to use even this method. Instead of this, we are going to use resource bundle class. Resource bundle class. Let's see how it is. So I'm going to comment this one. Comment this one. Let me remove unwanted things. Okay. Okay. So instead of this thing, what we are going to do is we are going to make use of, instead of using the locale, creating the locale.getDefault and using the properties, instead of locale.getDefault and instead of using properties, we are going to make use of the resource bundle. So let me create the resource bundle. So resource bundle is from the java.util.getBundle. Get bundle of the base name. See here, simply we are going to read the base name. What is my base name? So here my base name is my properties. Here the base name is my properties, right? So I'm going to use base name. Only base name. Let's see if we have any other overloaded methods of get bundle. Okay, get bundle, get base name, comma locale. So I'm going to use second constructor. Overall constructor. First I'm going to give base name. What is the base name? Base name is my properties. What is the locale name? So I don't know what is my locale name. Okay. So locale name, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use get default. Okay. Get default. So using this, I'm going to assign this statement to the new local variable. I'm going to say resource bundle. Okay. Let me say bundle. So using this resource bundle, so what I'm going to give is I'm going to call the get string. So get string of the key. What is the key? So the key, whatever the key you want to write. Let's say that I want to get the login underscore title. So I'm going to provide that key here. So I'm going to print in sys out. Okay. So let me save this and let me try to print. We got some exception. Can't find bundle for the base my properties locale underscore en. Can't find the bundle in my properties. Here it's saying that it's unable to find my property files. So for the important point to be noted is, for the property files, it should present at the project level. These files should be present at the property level, whereas for the resource bundle, it should be present in the class path. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on it, then new create source folder. So then I'm going to browse. So inside the source, I'm going to create the folder known as resource. Okay, hold on one thing. I'll create the folder resources and finish. So I'm going to place these folders inside the resource. So now they are in the class path. So now let me run again. Wow, now it has read the values sample project successfully. My property should not be present at the project level, and it should be present in the class path. So it's able to read my title. Let me read all other keys. So what are other keys? Other keys are login underscore username password and button. Username, other one is password, another one is login. This other one login button. Okay, button. So let me check this whether it's able to successfully print all the values or not. Yes, it's able to print all my values successfully. So this is about the standalone application. So that's all for now. This is how we are going to make use of the resource bundle. So in the next sessions, we are going to talk about the web service I18N applications. You know, we have discussed about the standalone I18N applications. Okay, thank you.